Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm in love with Elestrals right now, and it's taking up so much of my time. It's super fun to make new friends, play games together with Elestrals. Something's here for everyone, whether it's the art, the plushies, collecting. There's just something there that everyone can enjoy. But today I wanted to go over with you all how to make your own deck. Like whether you want to be competitive, casual, something in between, a deck that you love, inspires you, and that you made, it's a great feeling. So the question is, how do you build a deck in Elestrals? First off, we have two decks in a game of Elestrals. Our main deck, which are our castable cards, and a spirit deck that is both your life and resource to cast your main deck cards. In our main deck, we must have 40 cards exactly. In this deck, you can have Elestrals, which are our magically enchanted creatures we use to battle our opponent, and runes, which we cast to call upon powerful favors of the gods and artifacts for additional effects. Elestrals come in 3 sizes or cost, and you can normally only cast one a turn. We have 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost Elestrals. That's pretty straightforward. 2 cost and 3 costs require ascending from another Elestral to get into play, and that is an important concept for deck building that we'll go over shortly. Runes, on the other hand, come in 5 different varieties. We have Invoke Runes, Counter Runes, Divine Runes, Artifacts, and Stadiums, of which you can cast any amount of in a turn, as long as you have the resources to. Any card we play in our main deck can have up to 3 copies of each, though we cannot use different printings like the Artist Collection as unique cards. This base set Quackle, Artist Collection Quackle, and Stellar Quackle are all the same card for our deck building purposes, and can only have a combination of 3 in total. Then our second deck, our Spirit deck, contains none other than our Spirits. These cards we use to cast our main deck cards, and also are our life. If we run out of them and then take any damage, we lose the game. This deck must contain exactly 20 Spirits at the start of a game, and unlike your main deck, limit of 3 per copy, you can run any amount of spirits in this deck. You want 4 of one? Sure. 5? Sure. 20? Sure. All of one is a go ahead in this deck. So, now we need some inspiration to make our deck with. Something we'll enjoy, have fun with, maybe something you're attached to, your favorite art, your favorite card, interesting way to win, or your favorite archetype. The possibilities are pretty vast, and whatever way you like to play or is fun for you, you'll enjoy. For a quicker jump into the deck building experience, as in most other TCGs, starter decks are a great way to get into the game. Taking a starter deck, opening some packs for cards, and swapping in new cards to focus the deck or enhance it is an easy start. Or mashing up 2 or more of the same deck, or perhaps even mashing together 2 different decks will get you a more consistent deck. Or we can go and just build one from scratch. Once we have our ideas down, knowing what will make our deck work is important. Having too many big Elestrals at 2 cost or more is a common pitfall in early deck building. When constructing your deck, you'll want to keep in mind that 1 cost Elestrals are the current key to a deck's viability. Some decks can scrape by with 12 or so Elestrals, but this is a bare minimum and only found in the niches of strategies. You want to have more around the 18 to 21 range in your deck for 1 cost Elestrals. This will ensure you have enough Elestrals to draw into and keep up into the later stages of the game and not miss your ultimately very important normal cast each turn. Then, when you're looking at going to 2 and 3 cost Elestrals, you'll generally want to keep this number low. Anywhere from 0, and yes, there are deck strategies that don't run any larger Elestrals, to 5 2 costs and 3 costs is a good amount. Since they require ascensions from in-play cards, they can be as useless as a brick in your hand. So if you have too many, you may be unable to find the cards you need to get them into play. 2 cost and 3 cost cards will tend to be your capstone cards to focus your deck strategies on, but be careful on when and how many you use in a game. Then, the other half of your deck will generally be runes. Invoke runes are great to support your Elestrals on your turn or amplify their effectiveness. Counter runes give you responses on your opponent's turns, divine runes give you powerful effects, and importantly add spirits to your board to use with other various effects like a nexus, and then artifacts and stadiums strengthen your Elestrals in multiple ways. Your spirit deck ratios are a bit more complicated, and will when building your deck be the easiest or most difficult part. Making sure you have the right elements to cast your cards while also knowing when you take damage you'll have to lose some spirits is a balancing act. If your deck runs only one element, let's say it runs Earth, that's simple enough, 20 to Atlas. Most decks though you'll find have 2 or 3 elements, so you'll need to make a spirit deck relative to what you have in your deck. A shortcut you can use is to count up how many cards of each element you have. So let's say I have a deck that's 20 Earth cards, 10 Water cards, and 10 cards with no element. Roughly 2/3 of our Spirit deck will need to be Earth to match the Earth ratio. And that's about 13 or 14 cards. And then the remaining 6 to 7 spirits will be a Water Spirit. Or, commonly, if we're adding a small amount of one element type, known as splashing, say 3 Tsunami into our deck when we have no other water cards in the deck, well, that's 3 water cards, so we'll probably want 3 water spirits. But not exactly. The odds of you drawing all 3 of these Tsunamis is unlikely. So running 2 water spirits instead of 3 will be advantageous to allow other spirits for more plentiful elements in our deck so we don't run out of specific elements we might need later in the game. So to recap, we want 18 to 21 1-cost Elestrals, no more than about 5 Elestrals greater than 1 cost, and the rest of the main deck is a combination of various runes that will support our Elestrals. Then, our Spirit deck should roughly match the ratio of element types in our deck, though it may be more complicated than that at times. It's a good starting point for constructing a deck. Some key ideas to keep in mind are to look for synergy with cards, interaction, and consistency. Synergy is our cards working together with the same goal in mind. Cards that work specifically with each other, like Ambrosia and Drataya, are clear examples of synergy, but also say Necrof and Toxian, despite being in different elements, work well together as aggressive cards for a Thunder Fire deck. Your deck should also have a goal, and your cards should work in tandem for that goal. Consistency is making our deck's goals be realized with less random chance involved. Search cards and draw cards are great starts here, but also running 3 copies of our key cards will boost this. Generally, you'll want 3 copies of all the cards you need to win a game or are key to your strategy, 2 copies of cards that are slightly off plan but strongly support your deck, and any card that you run one of, you should make sure that it's very strong and niche in specific situations, or you can search for it easily. And lastly, interaction. We want to win, but so do our opponents, and this isn't a game of solitaire. We'll need to make sure we can stop our opponent and protect our own cards to keep our opponents from winning. Disruption, removal, and controlling effects all do this phenomenally well. Try and figure out what you'll need to protect your cards and stop theirs and add those cards to your deck. Alright, and also, just make sure you guys have fun. I mean, you might build the deck, it's not right for you. Maybe it's just not fun, but it wins a lot. Maybe it just loses all the time, but it's so much fun to play. You know, just build, iterate, remake the deck to what you enjoy. The possibilities are pretty much endless. If you ever need help, you know, just check out the official Discord, check out elestralsdb.com, ask a friend for help. Go become Elestrals deck building master. But until then, just go out there and have some fun with the game in whatever way makes you happy and makes you have fun. So until the next video, guys, I hope you learned something and have a great day.